Jamie Ferguson.
Enjoy.
My sister phoned me the other day and asked me, where does the R go in chicken? I know, it's kind of gay, but...
And sometimes you bomb, and bombing is really hard, and nobody laughs when they're supposed to. It's so bad. But then that just makes me want to get up and do it again and get those laughs that I didn't get before. So. My name's Derek McFarlane. I'm 31 years old and I'm an amateur stand-up comedian. The amateur nights at Time to Laugh is the best part about it is the camaraderie. It's a very supportive crowd. Anybody's welcome to come on. If you want to try it, it's there. If you never want to do it again, we never pressure you to come back. Whether it's in front of 13 people or 1,300, it doesn't matter. I'm terrified every single time, but I use that.
If the Americans vote in a white president next fall, it'll be proof that you can't go back.
Sometimes a joke will hit you, and the right joke will just snap into your head. You'll be looking at something, and bang, you got it. Otherwise, you'll think, well, there's something here that I can make funny, and then, you have to work on it. You sit down with friends, other comedians, and you say, I know something's funny about this, help me out, and you work out the wording and stuff like that.
Anyone who works in
It's just a matter of throwing ideas. It doesn't really matter what you have, as long as you have something. As long as you bring an idea to the table. It doesn't have to be written out in full. It doesn't have to have a beginning, a middle, and end. It doesn't even have to have a punchline. As long as you have a premise, it can be worked on and changed and everything else. Why? What is so dangerous about these flies in this parallel universe that they're instantly going to die?
Maybe they're Africanized.
They're Africanized flies.
And they must be Africanized flies. That's it. Like the bees. Like they gave the fly Africanization, whatever. I don't even know what that is. Especially because these are the same people that actually come out to the shows. I mean, if I think of a new bit, yeah, I want to get your opinion on it, but at the same time, I want to make sure that it's still fresh and you haven't heard it before when I do it on stage, so that way I get that honest laugh,
that honest reaction.
And the same with the other comedians. They're there at the amateur nights, week in, week out. The guys that we always get together with and write with. Yeah, so you of course want that honest first time reaction, but at the same time you don't want to go in cold. Your food cold. Oh.
How droll.
Oh, look at Ugg. He doesn't even know about the wheel. The wheel! Oh.
God, I love that.
Okay, if you're okay with it.
Yeah, no, yeah.
I love it. That's going to generate a whole bunch of ideas.
Everyone has their own different creative process. It all depends on how you do the jokes. Just paying attention and trying to look at the world in a different way than normal people would, because that's the funny. Right. And that's what people really like to hear.
Your parents didn't have to check them because there was no way anyone could poke a needle through it.
He's a liar. I just don't see how a sandwich artist at Subway can think so highly of herself.
Probably the most frustrating part is no audience. And without an audience, there's no show. The comedians can't play to empty seats. There needs to be that duality of joke and laughter, and if you don't have one, there's no other. It's the most fun night that nobody knows about, and if they only came out once, they would know. Nobody knows about it. I would love for someone to want to pay me to do comedy. I've loved comedy ever since I was a kid, because I was fascinated by all these men and women that could just go on stage and tell jokes, and that's their living. Like, what other great living could you have? When I saw some of the other guys do it, and I'm like, wow, this really doesn't take much. I mean, you only got 5 minutes, and that's it. I could do this, and I've always wanted to. Yeah, to do this as a living probably would be a lifelong dream. Right now, I would say it's probably a hobby that I'm taking very seriously. If I go into something, I do it 110%. And right now, I'm just kind of working on building a 30-minute act that I can maybe take on the road or start to travel, because I could tour the world with this if I get good enough. So.
Cosmopolitan magazine every month releases the 25 newest sex moves. If you need 25 new sex moves every single month, my phone number is 613-413.
You write a joke and specifically put in a spot for the audience to laugh, and then they do. It's an unbelievable feeling. It's making someone laugh is probably only overshadowed by making someone have an orgasm. It's probably the second best feeling in the world. But, and then once I got that, I was hooked. I'd like to go to Toronto. I know there's lots of clubs up there. I'd love just to go up there and just try, just to see how my stuff fares in a big city like that, because you never know, different audience could totally be a different thing. So I think that's my goal for 2012. I think getting good enough is only limited if you think it is. I think if I go for it, I could probably do it. I just need to find the right material and find my own voice. As far as I'm concerned, the sky is the limit, and it's only as far as you're willing to take it. So. I'll turn to Mark and I'll say, well, what about this? And he's like, nah, that's shit. And sometimes I think, well, no, you're full of shit. You don't know what you're talking about. And then I perform the joke as I thought it was, and then I find out, sure as shit, it was shit.
Do you find yourself getting, like, accidentally or maybe, like, subconsciously finding yourself jealous of people during these writing sessions, or when you actually see them do a bit on stage that you help them with?
Yeah, no, it usually comes out in the writing sessions when they come out and they say, okay, I've got this idea, and here it is, and here's the punchline. I'm just sitting there going, why didn't I write that? I should have written that. Fuck you for taking that. I want that so badly.